Emmanuel?
Hi.
Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what's going on with my camera. It doesn't want to power on.
Do you
So
have like a default web camera on your computer?
I do. I have a laptop that that was a it'll be a it'll work. Emmanuel, can I get my laptop to do this? Unfortunately, hello. Let's just do audio for you. Let's do. Oh, he's on right now. Let's just do audio for you. Let's
Hi.
do like Oz. You're live. Oh, I'm live. Okay. Okay. Well, sorry about that, guys. You know what? We are actually live. I'm gonna be like in the background, like Oz. So I hope it's okay. It's all right. We're still going forward, and let me start. Let me start. So, hey, my casual viewers, thank you for tuning in for a new episode of Casually Christian presented by Live Stream My Event. For those who are watching us for the first time here on Casually Christian, we talk about people's lives, their interests, their passions. So, if you like what you hear, please remember to hit like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to catch our latest episodes of Casually Christian. So, with that said, today we have a great show for you. If you love movie making, how independent movies get done, how you could break into the film industry. I have the pleasure of talking to two independent filmmakers who are creating waves with their recently released film. With a passion of telling authentic stories, joining us is Richard and Holly Soriano. Guys, thank you for coming on Casually Christian. And, again, apologies on the technical difficulties with my camera. That's a first for us. Thanks for joining us.
Hi.
Hi,
thanks,
everyone.
hon.
How are you guys doing?
We're doing good. We're doing good.
For those who don't know you, can you give us a little background on your, where did you grow up? What made you get into the film industry? Starting with Richard, and then we'll go to Holly.
Sure. My name is Richard. I'm the writer, producer of My Apocalyptic Thanksgiving. How did I get started? Basically, I think one of the films that kicked it off for me was Swingers. And Kevin Smith's Clerks, obviously. And I just fell in love with it because it just seemed like a bunch of your friends are making this film. And I go, well, I want to make a film.
Yeah.
And at the time, it's when they came out with Mac and they had that perfect marriage of software and hardware where you can actually connect your camera, make a digital short film, and voila, that was it. And since I'm a computer programmer, it was very easy for me to learn. You
Yeah.
know, you just had to show me once, and I pick up anything technically very quickly. So I would just make it, whether or not I had any artistic ability or not.
That's good, man. And that's really, it takes the motivation to do it, the passion. Because you could have the idea, but if you don't execute it, then it's not, doesn't do anything. But with Holly, let's go on to you. Where did you grow up? What's your background, and how did you get into the crazy world of independent filmmaking?
Okay, I've lived in 10 different states in Mexico and many cities within those states. Our family has a joke of why visit when you can move. And, there's always just, I've been telling stories since I was a little kid, and I just truly love it. I would say the movie that really inspired me for movie making would be Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Hmm.
And, I my background is a little different. I started with writing first. I became a professional writer, and I the first draft of my first screenplay ever made the first cut into the Sundance feature film program. And so I thought, oh, there must be something to my writing.
Yeah.
So I went on to write a bunch of scripts, decided that I want to study it deeper, got an MFA in screenwriting, and then that's when, after that, is when we started making my apocalyptic, and that's when I started getting more into production. I had also worked on an independent feature when I was in Texas for grad school, and that's where I met Walker, who plays Frank in our movie.
Hmm.
So, and he still auditioned and he did an amazing job. But yeah, and so now I'm just writing, directing, producing a bunch of shorts to prep for our next feature. And Richard's helping and doing that with me as well.
Excellent. And how did you both meet?
In a screenwriting class. So, I mean, it's just funny. You know, you do what you love, and then you fall in love with people who love to do it as
Yeah.
well. So we were in How to Be a Reader for the Studios, and so we met. We were in the a class, and we started talking. People shushed us, so we started passing notes to each other back and forth.
That's cute.
And couldn't stop talking to each other.
And that was 6 weeks after I moved to LA.
Wow, that's good luck. That's really cool, man. It's serendipitous, I guess. Um,
Yes.
I saw your movie the other day because it wanted to be fresh in my mind, and I remember you were talking about like you should watch movies like Little Miss Sunshine, uh, Happiness, what's called The Pursuit of Happiness, and Precious. And I think on the movie that you on the list was Rain Man. That was a really good movie too. And I think you it mentioned these movies to watch because the main character Marcus, like they all are overcoming this overcoming adversity, and they're trying to achieve a personal growth, and with determination and support with others, they're able to rise above. And I think that's why you asked me to watch those movies. And did I hit the nail on the, was that a bullseye, or is that, do you have another reason to for me to check out those films?
No, you nailed it. A lot of it is what movies inspired you to make your film, or what tone were you going for? What was your sense of humor? Or, I mean, you're standing on the shoulders of giants, and so that's why I had you watch those movies, and also, you know, just people, special needs aren't in films as have they aren't that prominent in films, especially as main characters.
Hmm.
Well, and the other part is when they are, they're generally presented as either sinners or psychopaths. There's like little room for complexity. And um, I really want to make movies about the complexity, that area of the gray for people with like developmental disabilities or special needs or mental illness, because there's this whole idea that they're so different from regular folks, but
Yeah.
they're just regular folks. Um, and we all get the have the right to make mistakes, and that's one of the biggest things that that we talk a lot about, especially because, like, in our background, taking care of people,
Mhm.
especially taking care of adults with special needs and all of that, is the importance of people's having agency, the right to make their own mistakes.
Yeah,
Like, mistakes are so powerful.
of course. I mean, that's how you have personal growth. That's how you learn from your mistakes. The problem is remaking those mistakes. It's like, didn't you learn your lesson? Where's that personal growth? And for those, again, for those who don't know about my apocalyptic Thanksgiving, just give us a synopsis or short. What's the movie about? Is what I'm saying.
Sure, it's called My Apocalyptic Thanksgiving. Uh, and the reason I call it that is that, I wanted three words, and I wanted a marriage between like special needs, zombies, and Thanksgiving. And so that's how I came up with the title. I was as close as I could come to. And so I came up with the tagline: special times require special
I love
needs.
that. I love that line. It stands out. You know.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, and sort of a wink and a nod to say this is a special needs movie, not just any special needs movie, but it's going to be special.
Yeah, and the main character Marcus, he loves the genre of zombies. He's all into that, and the movie starts off with him watching a TV show, kind of like in the same vein as The Walking Dead, uh, and so he introduces that to everybody that he meets, and I thought that was really cool. It's like a movie within a movie because like you have that storyline going in the background, and it finishes in the end. And what I really liked about this movie also is that like it was things were going so bad for Marcus. I'm like, I hope this doesn't end bad. It's like I hope this is a happy ending, And I never seen in a movie where, because you're always when we live in Los Angeles and you always see homeless people walking around shouting like mentally ill, and you always think like how did they get there? And in this movie, it touches a little bit how it's easy for somebody who has mental illness to get there to live on the streets. And he like the main character shouting, he thinks that zombies are after him is because he didn't take his meds, and it was the first time for me to watch it and that experience in the movie, and I thought that was really cool. I thought that was well done.
Oh, well, thank you. But it's also really important to show that, yeah, he screws up and he makes his mistakes and stuff, but people don't abandon him. And they still love him anyway. They give him the space to just be himself, which
Hmm.
is, the idea of unconditional love is an amazing, like, message because you think about how many times we screw up and we're afraid that people are going to reject us if we screw
Yeah,
up and they're going to send us far away and or not want us to have in their life. But the fact is that uh, it's okay to make mistakes and you're not going to be thrown away,
Yeah, because I know, like, with special needs, because a lot of them they don't have families.
Well, the ones in our facilities, yeah.
Yeah, so half of them are have families in our facilities, because we have boarding care for special needs adults, and that's what inspired me.
That's like a group home if you're not familiar with that phrase.
okay.
Yeah, and so half of them have families, and around holidays, they really feel the absence of families. And I know even sometimes we may not get along with our in-laws or stepbrothers or families, but they're still your family. And these people don't have any. The caregivers are the closest thing to their families.
Yeah, that's a good point. And with the story, how long did it take you to write the story? Did it take like how many drafts? Like when did you decide? When did you lock the script and say, okay, we're moving forward?
Oh man.
Because I know it's a while. Because I'm a screenwriter as well, and it takes a bit. It takes a long time. So when did you lock script? How long? How many drafts did it take to lock the script?
Oh wow, it took a few years. One, because I was learning to write,
Yeah,
and two, learning to write around the locations that you have.
of course, of course.
Because there was a certain point where, um, okay, so let's just take a step back. And when I was learning to write, I took this really great class from Corey Mandel, and he taught about escalation in a scene. And a lot of times when you're learning to write, you have to learn to escalate, but a lot of times we come up with these escalations with plot, with a plot device or a knife, or I'm pregnant, or I never loved you anyways,
Hmm.
or an engagement ring. That's how we would escalate a scene.
The tropes.
And exactly, exactly. So I had to learn to escalate emotionally every single time. Like there was a scene with Marcus and Frank every time, and you could see a number of scenes. The relationship had to be escalate because we didn't have a lot of plot devices. The
Hmm.
characters, as Holly likes to say, they are the set pieces. The characters are the set pieces. So one, I had to learn to do that, and so it took a number of years. And then, just as a proof of concept, I just wanted to make a short, see if I could write, produce, and direct. I had
Hmm.
made a bunch of shorts before, but I haven't didn't really like up up to production, and that's always hard. And then when I got it, I realized there's no way I could do all three, wear all three hats effectively. So that's where we brought in Charlie, who he had directed two other features, independent features, Come Together and Mr. Lucky, and he directed it. So we did all the producing for him.
And then I laugh when you're asking how many drafts because that's like we were even rewriting on set. So sometimes,
Yeah,
there's no such
of
thing
course.
as a finished film. That's why they say art is never finished, it's just abandoned.
Hmm.
Um,
It's like the script is a blueprint, and this is the scene, and then things change because of the location or something's going on. It's not working right, and you have to adjust. But yeah, I understand, and like. You won. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you won a critics award for the screenplay, best screenplay at a film festival,
Yes, I did. Thank you.
and that's congratulations, man. I know it's tough, and for you to get that, that's great.
Yeah, I was very shocked. There were some really phenomenal films from Italy, from let's see, the Ukraine, France, England, Belgium,
yes,
and so
States.
yeah, we were in the Entre du Marche Film Festival for disabilities in Cannes, France, and actually that's our anniversary too.
Oh wow, that's cool, man. And like Marcus, the actor who played Marcus, I believe he also won best actor as well.
Hmm.
Yes,
That's great.
they loved him. They watched our film. It's funny because when they
Awesome.
watched our film, we didn't have English French subtitles yet,
Yeah.
and so we were like rushing to get French subtitles. But when the guy watched it, his English is limited, but when he showed it to the rest of the board, they were just they there was something haunting about the film that it couldn't leave them, and so they
Oh
watched another 800 something films, and ours was selected. It's phenomenal.
well, congratulations, man. Because everybody is like submitting into film festivals, and for a film to get done and get selected to be in the film festival, it's a big accomplishment.
Well,
Thank
thank
you.
you. And my piece of advice for people with film festivals is, there are, of course, the great big ones,
Yeah,
Sundance,
can.
Sundance, and all that. But the big thing is, especially like if you don't have name talent or you don't have something big, find a smaller festival that really like understands your film because like the people that because this was specific towards disabilities and like our film was shown on a Sunday night, 8 o'clock at night, and it's an hour and 44-minute runtime, and they kept us we talked for like over a half hour afterwards with the Q&A. Yes, there was translation, but the thing is that these were the people that were meant to see the film.
Mhm.
And so going to a film festival that's more specific means you not only have an audience that will watch your film, they'll appreciate it and they'll understand it because that's what sings to their heart.
Yeah.
So, I know that of course there's that, well, if you get into con, you'll have that cloud. But right, but so yes, you'll have cloud, but will people remember your movie in the same way that they do if it's going to the people it's intended for? And that's a I'm just sharing that with you because like it was just very humbling to be in a room with people who
connected with your movie.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you create memories by creating emotions, and
Hmm.
that's what you did. Yes, that's awesome. And when you were making this movie, how did you fund it? If you don't mind me asking, did you crowdfunding? Um, how because it does even though it's an independent movie, it costs money to get water to put gas in the car to get there. How did you raise the money? Did it come out of like? Did you save a little by little, or how did you do that?
We worked 3 jobs each and turned our place into an Airbnb.
Oh, so that's how you do it. There's no wrong way.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, and with credit cards too, just
Yeah,
whatever you can do. I don't really advise it that much because it puts a lot of
of
pressure and
course.
things take a lot longer than you think it did. I mean, there was a lockdown,
Yeah.
there was a pandemic, I had a heart attack.
Oh,
Uh,
I'm
it,
sorry to hear that. I didn't know you had a heart attack, man.
Thanks.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it's just even when we reached you put it into the can, it's just like one, uh, you know, one thing in front of another.
yeah, one foot
Uh,
after the other.
But one of the things I will say though too about doing it that way is that then we don't have the like we had the room to breathe because like if somebody when you bring in somebody other's money, you bring in their
Of
expectations and
course,
that's totally fine. But what if you but
because
but
they
we
have the
didn't know
power.
we
You know what I mean?
but
It's their
more
it's their
important
movie. It's
yeah,
like, can I do
right
this?
but we didn't feel like we
Yeah,
knew enough to what we were doing that we could have really wisely used other people's money. So that's one of the reasons why we did it ourselves, so that moving forward we can maybe talk to other people. But this first one, even though like it costs us so much, we wanted to do it ourselves
yeah.
because we made it up as we went along.
yeah,
You can't do that if you have somebody else's
Of
money.
course, it's like, where's my product? And it puts a lot of pressure because in the end, it's really their movie because it's their money and what they say goes. As much as you're the creative guy, like the person, the director, the writer. Well, most of the director, it's their vision, and you get two different. If two people want to make two different movies, it's not gonna work. It has to be one cohesive voice. Uh, so yeah,
yeah, yeah. You have to listen to a lot of people. You have to listen to the critics. You're not going to agree with. Not everybody's going to agree
of
with you.
course, yeah.
Um, but we knew like what we wanted. We wanted the zombies in there because it was the meta of the movie.
Hmm.
Marcus watches as he watches the TV show, it reflects his what's going on
And then there's
emotionally and mentally.
yeah. Yeah, I picked that up. I picked that up. What challenges did you face while making your movie?
Oh, before we answer that, I was like, we also did, even though we did it ourselves, we still kind of used a little bit of the studio model where we did technical screenings. We did about 10 of them and got notes from about 60 people
Wow,
and reworked the cut based on the feedback that we got.
Yeah.
smart. That's very smart.
Oh yeah, because the movie in your head, to quote my favorite teacher, the movie in your head is in the writer's head, isn't in the viewer's head.
Hmm.
And so a lot of times you go, well, I thought I got that shot, but to the viewer, they go, well, it wasn't that clear,
Yeah,
or I didn't understand your intention. Oh, that's what you thought about? Because yeah, there's you know so so that's how we learned, and having amazing directors, post people, editors, writers, actors show up and give us feedback. We were just so appreciative of that.
Yeah, and as far as like the challenges during production, we lost a location um like just before we shot, so we reworked that. And
Yeah, we were behind a few days, and so we lost some scene, and then we had to rewrite to compensate for those.
yeah.
But it turned out we did a backflip, and it worked even better. So
yeah, and it's just like one of the things is that it's just a matter of just getting there and showing up and taking whatever comes and just do the best with what you can and understand that um, conditions are never going to be perfect, and you still got to charge ahead anyway, and that's okay.
Um, and what? But one important thing is who was going to play Marcus, and so you wanted someone who can play special needs without mocking the character.
Yeah.
So that was such a fine line because if we couldn't find that person, we couldn't make a movie.
And how did you find Joshua,
Just
the actor who played Marcus? Like, just like the character finally shows. Like, yes, we found him.
Yeah,
yes,
we
yes,
we auditioned over 200 people for
Wow.
the movie, just in person, and that's not counting the self tapes that we saw, because we did this before COVID, and then yeah, and just going and one of the secrets that we found about casting Marcus was callbacks, because we saw some amazing auditions from some people, one guy in particular, and he did a really good job. But when we did the callback, he couldn't quite replicate the performance that he did.
Mm.
And one of the things about carrying a movie is you don't give the same performance, you give a consistent performance. And so, yeah, Joshua was able to deliver that in an amazing way. And that's, and
yeah.
take
Kudos to
direction, yeah, and all that.
yeah,
So,
and Joshua he won Best Actor as you know at the Cannes Film Festival, the Entre de Marche in Cannes.
Mhm.
And kudos to Byron Velasquez,
Yeah.
who introduced
Junior,
us, Junior,
yeah,
who did an amazing job. We called him back, and he nailed it.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's really talented. Like he's a good friend. Like actually, like I had Byron and Paul Tully on on my Casually Christian show, and
Oh,
they're really talented. And it was a pleasure to watch them act. It was really
oh, okay. I
yeah,
didn't know you knew Paul too. How
yeah.
funny.
Yeah, I met him a while back. I met him in Cerritos College, and we talked a little bit, like in at a bar. And I followed his career ever since, and I saw that he made a movie Replica, and I talked about his movie and his experience. Because with independent filmmaking or movie making, there's not one clear path. Everybody does it differently, and but you're all trying to make the movie. You're trying to make that movie that you have in your head. Different paths. So
Yeah.
everybody has a different journey. And I just wanted to get to know more about your journey, like, building this movie.
yeah. And it's funny that you should mention Paul, because we met Paul through my friend Gisla, who plays the principal in my Apocalyptic, because Gisla was in my MFA program. And we went and saw a play version of Replica. And when Paul jumped up on stage, Richard leans over to me and he goes, "That's Lois." And we auditioned Paul. And yeah, I mean, Paul's amazing, and it's
Yeah.
so exciting about Replica. And
Yeah. Shout out to Paul. Hi, Paul.
Yeah, it's a small world, right? It's a very small industry.
yes, and something that you don't know is that when Byron was playing Alfredo in our movie, the little fanny pack that he has,
Yeah.
he had gummy bears in there because that's what he believed the character would have in there.
Oh, he didn't tell me that. Like
Huh?
that's really cool. That's very method of him.
Yeah, he really even like he asked me to treat him like he's one of the clients, and I just remember on like the first couple of days it was just so hectic, and yeah, it's just so hard to keep my head screwed on because
Yeah.
so many things were flying at me like the very first day. Um, so yeah, it's hard. Go ahead.
And he's also in a little short that I did, a proof of concept. It's called Piece of Meat. And he plays a guy named Rogelio who goes by Leo, who sells meat over the phone.
Yeah, he's a stand-up guy. He's really like he's a good person. Like he's very talented and he's on it. Um, so well, going back to the movie, what was the most challenging scene that you guys shot? What was the one, like the nightmare one? It's like, why? What's going on here?
Oh, you mean,
Like
or
the
which
most.
one did you go ahead?
I guess what I'm saying, what scene was the most difficult to shoot because it was either complex or because there was like you're losing the location, or what was the one that stressed you out and you can't believe you went through it?
For me, because I'm the writer, was without giving too much away. It was um, Joni scene with Marcus, who plays the mother, and that was probably the most complex. And I realized,
Mm, mm-hmm.
like, a lot of part of me was just like, what are some evil things that I've heard people say about their special need?
Yeah.
About their special needs kid, and I just started writing it down. And what would a mother say of special needs? And I know their frustration. I God bless them for keeping their kid and doing the best that they can do to take care of them, because that's why I wrote the film.
Hmm.
And that for the caregivers, and just like they are our children, they are friends too, and friends and family. They frustrate the hell out of you. You get angry. And what
Yeah.
would you say to them in privately? And so that's what I had to write. And I never really understood until that day that we were filming how truly vicious some of the things that they would say that would
Hmm.
make your skin crawl.
Yeah. I
And
go for it, Holly.
oh, I was just gonna say, and it's like there is that with other people. It's just it's harder because it's not. It's just something like that as far as like the actress Joni. I mean, like who gave that performance. I like she's in our next movie, Three Wishes, and like I get goosebumps every time I see her scene, even though I've seen her movie probably 40 times now. The whole process
Yeah.
easily.
She did. She gave a good performance too. A great performance. I was like shocked by some of the stuff that she said. I'm like, oh my god, you know. But it was that scene was hard to watch for me. But she, because
Yeah.
I think it was because she delivered a good performance is why it was hard to watch. Uh,
Yeah. And Joshua, too. And Ian's in the background. He plays the prison guard. You know, they all did.
um, how did you release the movie? Was it straight to VOD or did you guys release it in certain theaters? What was the distribution like after you locked the picture and you're ready to go?
Sure. We can talk about distribution. So yeah, we had 5 offers for distribution. I mean, they just love the film.
It's crazy.
Um, you
Yeah,
know,
and we it's now streaming on 11 platforms.
Mhm.
We didn't do a theater run. We're gonna do a screening probably here this year in Los Angeles around Thanksgiving to commemorate 1 year of distribution and for adults with special needs. I'm gonna start working on that after the summer.
Yeah.
yeah, and like we were also in lockdown, so we couldn't release the movie theatrically. We did find a local LA theater that would screen for us, and that was wonderful.
We had the cast and crew
And
screening.
cast and crew screening last Thanksgiving.
So for the platforms that could, the platform that my apocalyptic Thanksgiving, you didn't have a choice or a say where it was going to be streamed, like Amazon or Hulu,
Oh,
or was that all the distributors' involvement? Do you have
yeah,
a say?
we're distributed through Freestyle Media, which is Byron Allen's company, and they were the ones that are negotiating the deal. They're in the process of talking to some other big streamers about putting it there, and we also are selling DVDs at
Walmart
Walmart
and
and
Yeah,
Amazon and maybe Best Buy, I think,
yeah.
and
yeah, because I rented it yesterday. I know you sent me a link to watch it for free, but I wanted to support you guys and rent the
Oh,
video on
yeah, thank
Amazon.
you.
And
thank
it's just
you.
something so special to rent a movie that your friends are in, that they're part of the independent world. I want to support them because I would, when I eventually have a movie out there, I would like them to support as well. And yeah,
Yeah.
Sure,
Just having us on, it means a lot to
it
us.
is.
it
You
really
know,
does. Yeah.
um, the more support we get, for a few bucks or some time and just a little bit of your social media goes a long
It
way,
does. It really does.
because they are talks to with some bigger streamers, and if we can get some more people, to do a little bit of a ground campaign, especially around the holidays, we think we can make it up to some of the bigger streamers.
Well, since we're talking about social media, how important is it for indie filmmakers to build a following on social media?
Oh, wow. I wish I knew the answer for that.
Because sometimes it depends. Because here's the piece that's really important that people don't talk about is that it's more important to have engagement than it is to have like thousands of followers.
Mm.
So like yeah, certainly lots of eyeballs, like, but you never know what's going to hit. I randomly took a 7-second video of my cat with the heater that got 1,500 views on YouTube.
People love cats, man.
But I have my own little YouTube, and sometimes I don't get as many views. But the biggest thing is that it's about starting a conversation, because it's not like we're in this about, well, we can make $1 bazillion, because obviously we wouldn't make a movie about special needs and zombies, right?
Yeah,
This is more about like creating community, and so that's our thing. And so when you're ready to like send us links and all that, and we're happy to support you as well. So
Yeah, I found that a lot of filmmakers will support you, but if you can find somebody, your audience, whether you do like horror or disabilities or whatever your interest is in, try to join those groups and see if they'll help, get you know start interacting with that community is really important.
I
yeah,
got it.
because it's
Or
like more
go for it,
important.
Holly.
Oh, it's like more important to have 10 engaged fans than 100 people like, oh yeah, I think I saw that, but I can't quite remember.
Yeah, you want them to comment, to actually watch instead of just following, because following is just like you just click it and then you just forget about it. You actually want them to watch. You need eyeballs.
Yeah, I wish I had all day to just spend on social media, and some people they're masters at it. I
They
don't.
really are. I don't know. I don't like. I post videos and they don't really get too much traction, and it's some silly clip with like a cat gets like a 2,000 views.
I know,
It's
it killed me.
weird.
Like, how is it that my cat video, I mean, the video quality was terrible and everything, and yet people loved it. So
Yeah,
you just
It's
don't
strange.
know.
I'm a software developer, and they are fairly engaged developers, but usually if it's related to code, especially with Chat GPT, people love to make, oh,
Mhm.
look at this art with Chat GPT. So that's like the next hottest thing that usually gets you a lot of clicks. But me, if I go, hey, here's our hot new trailer, you know, Disney outputs one, they get 100,000 views in an hour, and I get like 10.
Man, it's just the way it is. But I think you guys did a great job, and because it's you gotta promote it. You as filmmakers have to promote it because nobody's gonna know about it. And do you guys know how to create like a successful campaign? Do you guys are figuring that out as you go along?
Um,
Yeah, we have training wheels on for sure.
yeah, we have training wheels. We're learning as we're doing. If I were to give any advice, what I would do is I would work backwards. And this is kind of like when you were asking, how did I know when it was ready? How did I know the script was ready?
Mhm.
So people always ask, oh, what are you working on? And because people in LA, their attention span is shorter than a TikTok video, you want to just hook them in right away. So I said it's about this. It's called My Apocalyptic Thanksgiving. They love the title, and then I say, oh, it's about this autistic guy with a zombie obsession, and then they're like, oh, that's kind of weird.
Mhm.
And so I started sort of gradually, organically growing my log line, and I found out that it's not that he's an autistic guy looking for his mom. That I mean, by default, that sounds like every other story, a Hallmark story, or you know. But what was engaging was the zombies. When you say, "Oh, he watches this zombie TV show," and as he searches for his mother, the zombie show is intercut between him and his search. You
Mhm.
know, so that they found that engaging. They go, "Wow, I'd like to see that." And so it was sort of meta to them. They were like,
Yeah,
"Wow, I'd like to see that movie within a movie."
yeah. I thought that was really cool. I wasn't expecting that. I thought that was nice. And in your opinion, what are common mistakes that filmmakers do when they're making a movie? Do you guys have an idea? Can
Yeah,
you
I
please
have
share?
a really big important note to share,
Sure.
which is you're an independent filmmaker. You don't have the resources of a studio film. So don't try to make a studio film. Make a film around the resources that you had. We had access to almost every single location that we shot at. And um, and like for me, for the shorts that I'm doing to prep for our next, I'm shooting them all in my house or places that I have
Yeah.
access to for free. So, don't feel like you have to make the big next studio film because you just don't have the resources. And that's one of the reasons why I started to get in the mindset of my actors are my set pieces so that I can write, because you can write dialogue, you can work with actors, you can get great performances. You don't need big fancy locations to tell a great story. And so that's really kind of my advice. And don't be afraid to fail.
Yeah. And make mistakes, make a bunch of shorts, good, bad, or ugly. Just keep making them. Try not to perfect them. Um, you know,
Yeah, James Cameron had a tip like that too. He was doing like a TED talk and he said, failure is acceptable. What isn't is fear. And don't be scared to fail. And that's how you learn. That's
yeah,
very
and
motivating.
yeah, like when I first started out, I'm kind of, you know, like when I started making shorts, I had zero expectations of the quality of my work. I was just happy to see the credits scroll at the end. I would
Yeah.
shoot anybody or anything, and I just love seeing my credits roll at the end.
That's me.
You're like, hey, there's my
Yeah.
name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I produced it. I wrote it. I
Yeah.
edited it. And you get so excited. And so I had no artistic ability in the beginning. But my friends would just roll with it, and that was great. And then that's why and then after making so many of them for years, it's like, what does make a scene great? Why is it that when those two people talk and my two people talk, it's not the same thing? Why? And so one of the best things I learned, I always wanted to be a songwriter, and I started, learning all these cool guitar riffs and drums and fancy rhythms. And then I heard this girl Jewel play, and she would have the most simplest chords. And Nirvana, he would have the most simplest melodies, and he doesn't even change. He only like two or three chords, and he'd write amazing songs.
Mhm.
And so I realized that there was some a magic in it, in its simplicity, and that there was a craft to it. So
I guess keep it simple, right?
yeah.
Well, and the other part when you're doing these shorts, try to make them. I don't know, like programming for film festivals is what under 14 minutes ideally. But also the other part is, as Robert Rodriguez says in his book Rebel Without a Crew or Guerrilla Filmmaking, refuse to spend. So for your shorts and for the smaller projects, don't. I mean, I know some people are like, well, you have to spend $25,000 for a short film. You can't monetize a short film. You're better off to just work on your skills and save, and pump yourself up and eventually get to that. But when you're first starting out, again, don't put the pressure
Yeah.
on yourself of having to spend a bazillion dollars.
Now, what, in your opinion or advice, would you give? Like, if you're going to spend money, what would you spend it on? Would you spend it on equipment or
Crew.
Yeah.
crew? Crew.
That's a crew.
Food.
Mhm.
Okay, because here's an important thing. Like people think that if you have the latest and greatest camera or this and that and the other, that you're an amazing. Well, if you don't have the skill set to support that camera,
Mhm.
it's wasted money.
Yeah.
So like I have a Lumix GH4. I bought it used and I've shot like 7 shorts on it. Not a big fancy camera, but it's 4K, and I'm building from there. You don't.
Yeah, you got to learn how to build. You got to learn how to play with your toys instead of just like, oh, I have these lights, and it's like, okay, well, it's like, how do you light it? You got to learn how to do it. You have to give yourself
Mhm.
a master class of filmmaking your own, because that's how you learn, just by doing it. That's how I learn, because I
Yeah,
could write notes, but I'm more like a hands-on guy everywhere. I could take all these notes, watch all these videos, but until like I'm doing it on my own, then it starts to click.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Let's see. I'll go for it.
Oh, I was saying absolutely. Filmmaking is learning by doing. I watch a lot of basketball. Doesn't mean I can play basketball.
It's enjoyable to watch. Uh, how can indie filmmakers ensure their films appeal to a wide audience? Do you guys have an opinion on that, or
Well, our audience isn't our movie isn't intended for a wide audience,
uh,
but one of the things like we talked about, and Richie can build on this more, but like the technical screenings that we had all walks of life at those because we also had caretakers and all that. And bear in mind, the more specific you are, the more universal your story becomes.
Yeah.
Like I put happy thoughts out every day, but something as simple as one day I wrote, "My happy thought is my sweater can cover the toothpaste on my dress."
Yeah.
you know, Very specific, but makes it universal because so many people can relate to that.
Yeah. Um, the trailer, I cut the trailer, or we cut the trailer, and you want to study trailers, so then that way you know who your audience is. You know,
You did most of the work on the trailer,
yeah.
though.
and you edited the movie, Richard, or did you have somebody else to edit the movie?
We had 4 people at it.
We had 4 people edit. So, but for the trailer, I edited the trailer, and then I had Brian Tan um, go in and then just basically copy what I did, and then add his own touches and his own spins, and he helped bring it to life. And David's music is awesome. James Morioka did amazing sound mix on it, and Rachel did an amazing color job and visual effects, and Tammy and Glenn did amazing visual effects on it as well. So if you can come up with a trailer, I think even if you just do a mock trailer, I think that would help a lot, and that way people get a sense of what your film is about. And coming up with a poster would help too. That way you really know who you're talking to.
I see.
And,
That's really good advice.
and this is a story note, which is even if you're telling a really dramatic story, try to put at least a little humor. Don't like
Of
write your
course,
story around the joke. Have it come out because your audience also needs a break.
of course. I
Yeah.
heard that too. And what are you currently working on right now? Are you guys working on a new project? Are you guys writing something together, or
Yeah, I'm writing the next script because Richard wrote my Apocalyptic Thanksgiving, and then we produced it together. And I'm writing and directing our next script, which is called Three Wishes, and we're going to produce that together. It's about an Asian woman who has a fairy godmother grant her 3 wishes in a psychiatry ward,
oh, okay, that's
and
different.
as she's grappling with the death of her father, her brother involuntarily commits her rather than dealing with his own emotions. So
I see. There's a running theme with like the apocalyptic Thanksgiving in that one. Uh,
yes, there is. Well, we want to, like we were saying, like I said, we're just trying to tell small stories rather than trying to do the next Marvel movie.
I completely understand. And are you done with the script, or are you currently writing it, or just working it out?
I'll never be done writing it. At some
Yeah.
point, I'll stop, but I'm working on it. Working on it. I had to table read with my actor sorority cast early on to find out if what I'm
It-
writing for their character works for them. But we're gonna keep workshopping it, and we're doing a bunch of shorts to prep and we're gonna do a bunch of rehearsals and rework. So when we go to shoot, it'll be like this.
yeah, Fast and Furious. That's what I said when you shoot a movie or anything. Fast and Furious, because people are just lingering around. The energy drops, and then they start wandering off. It's like, that's a lesson that I heard when I was going to film school. When you go on set, shoot Fast and Furious.
Mhm.
So, and what about you, Richard? Do you have any other side projects that you're working on?
Um, I was inspired by Holly's meat short, and so I started writing. Was it a feature about meat?
The one that Byron is in.
It's kind of like that movie with Jake Gyllenhaal. Tony Gilroy made it. Nightcrawler.
Hmm.
So it was about a guy who's down on his luck, and he can't sell his meat, so he starts creating controversy around it. Just like the guy who wants to be a news reporter, he starts causing accidents and creating his own mayhem so that he could be the star and he could be a
Oh wow.
star news reporter. So I was thinking about something along the lines with dark humor because that tends to be my sense of humor, which is kind of dark.
So, like, since we're talking about movies, what, just to kind of end the show, what is your favorite movie, Holly, and why? I know it's hard because there's so many movies, but what's the movie that you just love? You just it starts and you just got to watch it.
Okay, I can't narrow it down to two. Narrow it down to one. So I'm gonna say three.
Sure, no problem.
Sorry. So one of my favoriteest movies of all time is You Kill Me, which is Ben Kingsley plays an assassin with that alcohol problem. And so his family sends him to AA. And he's like, I would be a really good killer if it wasn't for my drinking. And the guys that wrote that went on to write the Captain America and Endgame and all
Oh
those
wow.
movies. Yeah. So that was the movie really kind of that launched them. Another movie is The Long Kiss Goodnight, with Gina Davis and Samuel Jackson. But that's, I truly love that. And then I would say that my final that rounds it out is this movie called RRR, which was out of India last year. And
Okay.
it was robbed. It should have won Best Picture. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely loved Everything Everywhere All at Once because that's also a phenomenal movie. But there was something magic about RRR. I saw
Really?
it in theater 5 times.
Wow.
I brought her. I brought her to it. I didn't know anything about it, but I just heard Chris Gore on Film Threat rave about it, and I go, "There's no way it's as good as Raiders of the Lost Ark."
What?
Better.
And and I just
Well,
had
now you piqued my interest because I don't know anything about RRR. I
oh
only I only first heard of it like when I was watching the Oscars. I'm like, what's this movie? Uh,
oh really? Oh
yeah,
my god! Go see it in the theater or see with a bunch of friends. It's so much more fun when you see with other people.
yeah,
It's on Netflix, but if you watch it in the original language. Don't watch the overdub. I mean,
yeah.
the,
I gotta read the subtitles because I can't do it because like the lips, it just like it doesn't match and it throws me off and it ruins the movie for me.
yes, and if you can see it on a big screen in any way, that's all I'm saying.
Well, I'm probably gonna watch that movie this weekend. Thanks for the
Oh, okay.
recommendation.
Yeah, I know. I was blown away by it. I seen it 3 times. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about
Um,
you, Richard? What's your favorite movie?
besides RRR, I would probably say The Pursuit of Happiness.
Mm,
It's so touching. I think mostly for me because I mean, just the way it's filmed, and that was probably one of the most things that inspired me. Was I love the way the director directed it. He showed Will Smith running all the time because he's chasing his dream all
mm,
the time, and I thought, oh my God, this guy. No wonder it just feels so amazing. Um,
And it's based on a real story.
yeah.
it's based on I can't remember his name, but a guy who just wouldn't give up and he did it for himself. He did it for his family. Even when people, even no matter how bad the circumstances, he just wouldn't stop with this dream.
He
And
persevered. He
yeah,
persevered. Yeah.
persevering it, never complained, never made excuses. And I just love that because, that was us. We didn't give up. There were many times, even having a heart attack, we wanted to give up. There were so many things, obstacles in our way, and we just kept our head down. Just kept at it. No matter, we're all filmmakers, and you get sick of your footage, but you just keep at it.
And that's when the real work begins, and that's when it really does start to feel fun. I mean, one of the things Richard didn't share, which is really important, is he had had a career, six-figure career in the software industry, and he walked away from that when his family got sick, and that's how he and his father got sick, and that's how he ended up in the boarding cares. I mean, he'd helped on the side, but that's when he went into it fully so that he could help his family.
Wow.
So, and yeah, and his father eventually passed away. But yeah, I mean,
I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, thanks.
when the real work begins.
But that's the beauty of it is you write out your angst, and without that I wouldn't have come up with the movie. Like even Precious. That was one of my inspirations too, because I I see Precious as somebody who's special needs, but she's also a daughter to a mother, a very mean mother, and that's also one of my inspirations too, because like one day when I was driving around the special needs guy, an ad comes on the radio, and the ad is about finding your soulmate online. And one of the guys goes, "If you can find your soulmate online, why can't I find my mother?"
Mhm.
And I just found that line just so
Wow.
heartbreaking. And even when I showed him what the internet is and this and that, it haunts me, that he can't
That's so
find his
sad.
mother.
It's very sad.
Yeah, and so these are the stories that you never hear about the special needs. That's why we would inspire us to push forward and move forward with the movie. That's why you see so much love and tenderness
Mhm.
and respect for the
Nice.
special needs community.
Yeah, because they don't get much representation, and I have a cousin that's special needs, and I I love her very much because she's innocent. There's no, she I don't know. I feel I love my cousin. So thank you for making a movie about the community, and I think anybody who watches it, well, they'll connect to the movie. It's well done, well produced. The sound's great, and thank you for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank
Oh,
you.
thank you,
And
Christian.
sorry, we could totally talk about all this forever.
Before we go, can you tell us where people could find your content, your movie, where your Instagram handles?
Oh, sure. I am. Yeah, you can find all of us at myapocalypticthanksgiving.com, and then you can connect to all our social media from there, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook group, or Facebook page, I should say. um, and check out our trailer if you like that. We're on 11 streaming platforms. If you do watch it, we really appreciate it. Write a review, share it with your friends this holiday, and yeah, and you can even pick up one of these shirts too.
Yeah, the
and
merch.
you're welcome to reach out. I mean, we're always interested in uh, promoting other filmmakers and building relationships because our real goal is to create a community of filmmakers.
Thanks, guys. I think we're gonna watch your trailer right now. I think
Awesome.
Manny, if you want to play the trailer, you're ready. There it is, guys. Let's check it out.
Go to the program. When you come back, you can watch another episode. There's a big marathon on tonight. All right? All right.
I want to spend Thanksgiving with my mom.
Wait, what?
I want to spend Thanksgiving with my mama to watch the last episode of Apocalyptic Zombies.
Do you even know your mother's name?
It's Mama.
We'll see, Marcus, but you may not be able to have Thanksgiving dinner with her. He has mental illness and developmental disabilities.
Yeah.
Do zombies have families?
Yes. We're all God's children. Brothers and sisters.
Marcus, your mother is in Lompoc prison.
Oh, I know where my mom is!
I'm trying to raise enough money so I can come see you. I'll be there.
Marcus? Marcus, hey. had you some help. Are you serious? Or just...
Hey, I'm Marcus. I'm a new worker.
Can you clean dumpsters?
Is this enough?
Marcus, why are you in a group home?
'Cause I ain't got nobody.
Tell you what, why don't you join our family? You can make enough money to see your mama all the time.
Thanks, buddy.
You say, man.
Frank lets you watch this?
Oh, they're just zombies. And it helps me sleep at night.
Just slice their head off. Just
Doesn't that need electricity?
no, this one uses gas.
Marcus, what are you grateful for?
I'm grateful for my mama.
Little fish chump.
You are still responsible. He needs more attention and another psychological evaluation.
There's nothing wrong with him. He wants to be with his mother.
You gotta charge him phone.
I want to have the most apocalyptic Thanksgiving lunch with her.
All right. Well, there it is, guys. My
These are
apocalyptic
producers'
Thanksgiving.
reactions to the samples in the producer.
Oh, I think we're still going on. Thanks for sharing, guys. If you guys want to check out the trailer again, the link is right there, and you can watch the My Apocalyptic Thanksgiving on Amazon. Anywhere you VOD your content, it'll be available there. So thanks to you guys. I really appreciate it. Please, if you guys like our content here in Casually Christian, please like, follow, subscribe. We're also on Spotify. And if you guys want to produce your own podcast just like mine, hit up my friend Manny at Livestream My Events. He'll set you up in the same way with my podcast. So until next time, guys, I'll see you guys soon. Have a good weekend. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.